Hello there, friends. It's Miss M. I've been away from here for a while, but I've been working on some very good things. I've also been really enjoying teletherapy with my little humans, and it's been a bit exhausting because the energy's been up, but by the time I'm done with teletherapy, the energy's been down. I don't know why I'm giving you all these excuses because I've been on like a month-long hiatus, but I am here and I am so happy to be here. And I've missed making these videos. Can you tell how excited I am to just be on camera? Okay, so Thanksgiving is next week. Last year at this time, I remember, well, actually probably like closer to the beginning of November, because now we're in the middle of it already. Oh my goodness. Last year, I was like struggling to come up with ways to talk about being thankful with my preschoolers. Being thankful, what I learned from working in preschool, you learn about these abstract concepts in grad school and everything like that. Now I'm just rambling, by the way, but I'm getting it all out. You learn about those concepts and how they're hard to grasp, right? For little ones. But so for me, I'm such a learner through application that I really didn't get how abstract the concepts of gratitude and being thankful and all that stuff were for little ones until I was working with preschoolers, and a lot of the time, especially with like when we think about, I work a lot with promoting functional language and making sure that in everything I do, it is serving a function that is super relatable for my little ones as they're learning language and using language. So sometimes I'll tell you, I have a little bit of a beef. I know manners are important, but for my preschoolers, when they come to speech, I do not require the words please and thank you. I know. It is good to have that, but sometimes if I'm working with a child who maybe is using one-word utterances or maybe not quite using words yet, trying to have them even imitate yes please or no thank you or things like that. If they're finally saying no and then we're saying, well, say thank you. To me, that concept of why we're saying thank you is not important yet. And so I'd rather get that functional language and acknowledge, oh, you said no, okay. Maybe you can model the thank you after, but requiring it for me is not important at that stage. Obviously maybe as they get older, maybe when they're like 4 getting ready to go into kinder and they've got 3 to 4 words and, we're working on maybe a little bit more of that social pragmatics or etiquette almost of, being kind. Of course, we start using those words as the concepts become more concrete for them. But, in November with 3-year-olds, it's their first school experience. Some of them maybe are nonverbal. I don't like to stress the thank yous and the pleases. I like to give them something that is concrete and that really can resonate with them, and be a mindful type of activity and a reflective type of thing that kind of goes along with the idea of Thanksgiving and, actually being thankful in the holiday seasons, and giving and being a giving human and a kind human, and really something that can stretch into the whole school year, right? Okay, so I got all that out. And I don't, again, I think those words are great, and when they are meaningful to the person using them, when the pleases and thank yous are meaningful, then the requirement makes sense. But when there's no function to them yet, when there's nothing relatable to them yet, I don't want to force it on my students because we're working on maybe something that, that the enjoyment of communication first and foremost, and the concepts of language with the developmental level that they might be at. Okay, done with that. So last year when I was thinking, okay, well, how can I talk about the concept, me and my gratitude, I think gratitude is the attitude, right? I believe so much in being grateful, and I believe so much in practicing gratitude, not only for adults like my friends and my family or maybe teenagers. I remember being a teen and starting to really understand the concept of gratitude and sort of get the power of having a grateful heart and what that could mean. But when talking about it with preschoolers, I was like, I would love to talk more about being mindful with them, but how do I do it? So I was kind of stuck last year. But after having a lot of conversations with other speech pathologists, conversations with individuals who work a lot with mindfulness and mental health and talking about the need for kids to be able to have these practices in their routines from an early age, preschool and maybe early intervention therapy sessions and things like that. I created something that I always share with my families that I work with. But I've created a gratitude journal. If you don't know, I have a journal. It's called the Say Thanks More Gratitude Journal. It's mainly for teens or adults, where there's different prompts for every day of the week. And you write things you're excited about. You write things you're grateful for, all kind of around the concept of gratitude and mindfulness. And then I also created a children's journal. Well, in this children's journal, instead of requiring writing and lined pieces of paper, it's a beautiful open space for a child to draw or write about different prompts, again, geared towards mindfulness or gratitude. But when I was making this, I thought, okay, so I have to think about, how a parent or another adult might want to teach these, so that way the prompts can be something that we can talk about and relate them to real practical, relevant things for a child that are concrete. And in doing that, I thought, well, what if I have handouts for speech therapists and teachers or parents to utilize? Like I said, these handouts I send home with my parents and students because they can have the opportunity to sit with their child and work on these kinds of things that are teaching what seems like an abstract and is an abstract concept in a way that's a little bit more relatable for a child. So, like the first one, draw or write how you feel today. And feelings for 3 and 4-year-olds and some adults are really hard. They're big and they're abstract, and feelings, and like when you feel something, especially for a little one, I noticed their feelings are so big, but not knowing how to communicate them and not knowing how to react to certain things gets challenging. And so I thought, well, we could talk about how we feel through a drawing. And this is a great way for a parent or, again, a speech therapist or a teacher to sit with a child and talk about a feeling. You can use your visuals. I have a beautiful chart in my speech room that has, if you know it, if you're a speech therapist, you know the thermometer of feelings. So you have, green where you feel good and happy, and yellow, orange, and so on, to kind of show, if you escalate, right? If you go up the thermometer, get hot, you're feeling really hot and maybe angry and frustrated or mad, and there's all those adjectives that go along with the different feelings. So having that visual and then getting to say, well, you draw how you feel. You can talk about the faces, right? Maybe they're going to draw a frown face, and it gives you kind of that ability to target some of those social emotional things while the child is having the opportunity to express. Another thing, the reason I love these handouts is because they're so big, and if drawing, if that requires some fine motor skills, if that's not an option, maybe finger painting and just choosing colors about how we feel. So you have maybe a watercolor or finger paint with, when you have your chart and you say, pick the color of how you feel. So that could be a way to adapt it. The reason I made these so big is because I thought, well, I would want them to be adaptable. I want them in my speech room, if I want to use Play-Doh and put these in some kind of a sheet protector or something. I want them to be accessible like that. Another prompt that's on here, draw or write about a person you are grateful for. So this is an opportunity to teach that gratitude concept and a way to make it relatable in the form of a person. Because I know, like with a lot of my students, they love their mommies and daddies and their siblings or their friends. And so this is a great way to teach, like, oh, you like to eat snack with Bobby. Oh, are you grateful? Are you happy? Does Bobby make you happy? And kind of weave in the words, but you're not requiring them to know what grateful means. You're just weaving that in as you bring up all the language about how it makes them feel or how that other person makes them feel. And then they can draw them, or again, pull out the finger paints and just have an activity where you're using a lot of language input about that person that they are grateful for or that they are happy about. I have draw or write about 3 things you're excited to do. This one's really fun to do before Christmas because maybe they're going away to the mountains or camping, or even before a birthday, maybe they're gonna go to Disneyland. I don't know. But this one's really fun because little kids, I've noticed with my 3 and 4-year-olds, the idea of excitement is kind of coming in. They just, when you say, okay, it's time for recess or it's time to go to outside play, their face lights up. And so that's a great point, great time to say, you're excited to go outside. And so you can kind of draw those kinds of things too. It could be related to the school day. Draw about 3 things you're excited to do today. You're excited to go outside. Oh, and this reminds me, this is a great way to I do this at the beginning of my speech sessions. And so it's a great way to kind of, and I just pick one. I just maybe have them pick one, or I pick one, whatever it is, and it's a mindfulness kind of moment. And so they can take that time to do one of these, for 5 minutes or however long you want to make it at the beginning of their day. So that's a great one to do. 3 things you're excited to do today, because they know, if they know their school routine, then they can say, oh, I'm excited for centers, snack, and outside play. My 3 favorites. Draw, this one's my favorite. They're all my favorite. But this one says, draw or write about how you're being kind and helpful towards your friends and family. So I didn't just limit it to school day, it's for home too. And it just instills the idea of, oh, maybe helping them think, how can I be a helper today? How can I help somebody? The concept of being a helper in preschool is huge. The kids love being helpers. When I have children who maybe sometimes have a little bit more of challenging behaviors, I guess I'll say, for lack of a better term, one of the things I've learned is really helpful in giving them a job and a role is having them be the helper, having them help their friends and be able to focus on that. Because not only is it, something that might, I say distraction, it's not really distraction from the behaviors. What it is it's like a social emotional practice of having the job as being the helper, as being the kind friend. They're all kind friends, but just having that ingrained or that focus for them to give them that almost like, I want to say peace of mind, just like they can be a helper. So that one's a really good one too. And then there's draw or write about something that makes you laugh. This one's really great because a lot of the kids, maybe they're picking their favorite book or their favorite, TV show. I don't like saying that because that means we're talking about, but that doesn't matter. I was going to say we're talking about screen time. That doesn't matter if we're talking about it, right? Something that makes us laugh. Maybe it's Pete the cat. I know that makes them laugh so much. And then draw or write about 3 good things that happened to you today. So this is a great one to kind of end a day on. So for moms and dads maybe, or if you're like the speech therapist that takes them at the end of the day, that's a really great one to talk about all the good things, the fun things that they did in class already. They went to outside play, they got to eat some, goldfish at snack time. And then with all of these prompts too, I've made for older kids little like postcard sizes to be able to take home and share with families. All of these can be shared with families, but I thought that was really fun to do too, to have ways for older students to kind of hold on to their card or hold on to their mindfulness activity and maybe remember and reflect with it. But the whole point of this is I wanted to kind of share just a little hack, I guess, that I've come up with to be able to start talking about these things in a concrete way of giving them, the hands-on experience of being able to paint or draw what it is that they are doing. Because if you know me, what it is they're doing, how it is they're feeling or they're thankful for, whatever. Because if you know me, I love the act of actually writing out my gratitudes or my goals or making lists about all the things I'm going to do in one day. It's really helpful for my mind. It's a helpful moment for me to be able to just sit and write without any distractions. And I feel like this is something that can provide a foundation for taking those mindfulness moments. That's something that they can, if they do it consistently, that is, it goes into the ability to kind of do those things more independently. So there you go. Say thanks today and every day and share it with your students. You can find, I'm linking this to to the caption, so you can find that on my website, thanksmorris.com. Again, if you're one of my families, you get this. So make sure you ask me for it because I send them out at the beginning of I've just sent them out actually for the month of November, but I usually will send them when I get new students. So they have kind of a packet of speech things. All right, friends, that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back. I apologize for being gone so long, but I'm here. Have a great day.